Hello everybody, my name is Harry Jacobs and welcome to the North of 60 Gaming channel, and I am the North of 60 Gamer, and today we are going to be taking a look at Cthulhu, a deck building game, or Cthulhu. I'll show you the video that I'm going by and we'll show you how you actually pronounce it. It's more like Cthulhu.
How did H.P. Lovecraft pronounce this word? Well, the short answer is Cthulhu.
So this game came under the radar. I don't know where I tripped across it and went, oh, this is pretty neat. But it was a Kickstarter back in 2019. Apparently there is a main game and a expansion, The Horror in Dunwich. It is a deck building game where you work cooperatively with your peer investigators to try to stop the Elder Gods from, of course, reducing you to insane or dead. So we're going to take a look at how that plays and unbox it, and then there's not much to look at the unboxing. It is basically 500 cards in one and about 600 cards in the other. There is about 1,100 cards between the two games. But without further ado, we're going to go down and unbox at least the deck building core game, and I don't know about the Horror of Dunwich. We'll probably get to that as well, but not here because, you know, how many cards can I show you? Anyway, let's get to it. So we are down at the table getting ready to look at Cthulhu, a deck building game. I did buy this off of Amazon. They ran about $45 each. They ran a second campaign for the Horror of Dunwich, which is an expansion, or a standalone expansion, I should say, that can be combined or played by itself. So let's take a look at the main box. I don't think we're going to be opening the Cthulhu, the Horror in Dunwich, and we're going to take a quick look at what's in the box. And again, as always, then we're going to take a look at the components, then we'll do the setup, and then we'll do a little bit of a playthrough. We're going to do a solo playthrough, so let's just open it up. We'll put that out of the way. As always, we will try to wrestle with the box to open it. There we go. I should show you the back as well. Can you save everything? This is from Wyvern Gaming. It is from 1 to 6 players. It takes 40 to 120 minutes. They're saying ages 14 and up. This is a simple deck builder. I would say not a high strategy. We're looking at probably a gateway, a lighter, heavier game, if you can say that, or a lighter medium game perhaps. It's going to take a thought. There have been some interesting reviews, and we're gonna not talk about those as we go along. Boy, I like this. Dare you open the box? I don't know. What do you think? I'm afraid now, but let's continue and open the box because, you know, what the hell. As always, there's rules. There's no surprise there. A nice little insert. Oh, we've got. Let's take a look at the rules. It is a 28-page booklet, but, you know, there is the font is, if we look at the font, a pretty good size font. There are pictures. There's about 500 cards, I believe, in the base deck, or 467 cards in the base deck. There are different types of cards. And let's take a look. We have the player cards. What is that? That looks like a divider of some sort. Well, we have a number of dividers, or 2 dividers anyway. We have some dividers within here, and I'm not quite sure how this all is going to go. These are clips, and I think you've seen these before in other games like Dragonfire. So if you've played Dragonfire before, you are familiar with the clips, and I don't like these at all. They are sometimes hard to move, but we'll see how it goes. I may use a tokens or a dice to track life as we go along, but there are a lot of different characters that you can play, each one having a backstory, a special ability, and what happens to them if they die. So if you have a multiplayer game, even if they die, they can have some influence on the game. I don't know what. They have some QR codes, and there it is, Cthulhu, a deck building game. So we have the bartender, the curator, the engineer, the professor. Now, they didn't name these, which is interesting, where the other, now that could be an issue with IP. with Fantasy Flight, because a lot of Fantasy Flight, of course, would give them their actual H.P. Lovecraft name. I'm assuming that they have the IP for this, from the Lovecraft estate, the detective, and on. There are a lot. You can play. There's a magician, a mobster, the magician. What else can we randomly see here? Oh, the psychiatrist. All of which you can recognize if you've played Arkham Horror in any way from Fantasy Flight games. Basically, then we have decks, and lots of decks. Now, we're not going to look at these decks. I'm not going to pull them apart until I get these, till we look at the components themselves. So, but we can give you a little flavor of the artwork. It is dark artwork. And this is the Blood Sacrifice. Take 5 health. Take 5 health damage, then remove 1 active permanent minion or gain 1 Moxie. So Moxie is the currency of the game. You buy cards and you attack the Elder Gods with the Moxie. And we'll show you how that works when we get to the play of the game. Just to show you a little bit more of the artwork. We have Arachnophobia. So when you see this little green, that usually means the investigator count. So as a solo, I'd be 1, but if we had 2, it would be 2. And what do we have here? We have Hastur. So we know from our lore that Hastur is actually one of the Elder Gods. And we'll show you more of the artwork and more of the cards as we go. And this is a dagger. So we have equipment. We have spells. We have Elder Gods. We have minions. Now, minions do not get shuffled in. Minions are summoned, and so they will get sorted and then pulled out as needed in the game. But that is what is in the box. That is what's in the box for the Cthulhu. I'm not sure what's all in the box for the Dunwich. Should we take a look? I think we should. Why not? Let's take a quick look. I suspect we're going to get more of what we see. Does it say anything special about this? 13 more Elder Gods, 19 Investigator cards. There's a total of 535 cards, so you get more actually in the box than with the base game. So let's just take a quick opening. I bet you we're going to get that same warning. Do I dare open the box? I hope we dare open the box, or else we won't get to play. But let's just see. Oh, same message. Do you dare open the box? I think it's going to be more of the same. Basically, we have... Oh, but we have a dice, which is different, which we didn't... Whoops. Because I spill everything over. We have a dice. We'll just turn that around. So we have a dice. I have no idea what the dice does. It looks like it has some numbers and a fancy Cthulhu. We're going to take a closer look when we get there. Oh, we got more dividers. More cards. We will take a closer look. More dividers. Again, not a fan of those. And we have some new, the Gambler, the Hobo, the Medic, the Cowboy, the Con Man. So we have more of all the goodness that the first one has, including a deck which is, here it is, the Dunwich Horror. And that's the 30. So I'm deal the Investigator with the highest 1 IC plus 3 damage. So I'm suspecting that is some sort of a Elder God card, which is not a good thing. Here we have Acid Rain. Gear is unable to be used until the end of this round. So that is probably a Mythos card. What do we have here? Equipment. Charles Spear Gun. Gain 5 Moxie. Well, that's certainly good if you're trying to kill Elder Gods. What's on top here? Psychotic. When you're in combat, roll a dice. For 2, you must randomly choose a target. On a 2, you must randomly choose a target between Elder Guard minions and investigators by rolling the dice again. Damage is dealt to their health. Oh my gosh, a little bit random. Now, I heard this game is really quite random, and this is Tapirs. The investigation with this highest sanity must discard a card of their choice. If they can or choice, they will deal IC sanity versus damage. If you're playing with a 6-player count, that could be very nasty. And I think, do we have different rules? Looks the same. Very similar. I don't know where the dice come in. And we'll take a look. Maybe we'll discover that as we play the Dunwich Horror version. But that is the unboxing of Cthulhu, a deck builder game, and the Horror of Dunwich. So we will then get into the other components and setup as we go along. So we are set up for a solo game of Cthulhu, a deck building game. I have chosen the Psychiatrist. I start with 25 life and 40 sanity. My special ability is I can heal 2 sanity for every 1 moxie that I spend. And if you recall, moxie is the currency of which this game uses. And the other special ability is whenever I take a sanity hit on myself, I will be able to give that to a minion or an elder god. So hopefully we'll do a lot of my own sanity damage to myself. So I am going to get ready to play. My Psychiatrist is ready. We have him on 25 health and 40 sanity. As you can see, I am going to be using my clay tokens from Roxley. They are wonderfully great for counters. There's some really good heft and weight, and I highly recommend them. They are a bit on the expensive side. 4-1 Games listed them for about $75. And I'm just going to put them up to the top here. You can just see a little bit of it. I just want to keep it off to the side so that it's available here. Here's our minions here. And here's the other half of the library deck. There is the library deck here, of which we will pull over 5 cards first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the cards the cards that I buy. That way we don't have to explain every card that's going down. So that is our library, and we have a couple of different types of cards. We have equipment cards, we have action cards, we have spell cards, and there are location cards. Right now we have 2 spells, 2 equipment, and action. Equipment's usually really good. Actions usually help in some way. Spells usually do damage or get you Moxie. Moxie is the currency, which we already explained. Moxie is what I use to buy. Moxie is what I use to attack. And so there are 5. Here is the Mythos deck. There's over 100 Mythos cards. There's 167 library cards. And there's about 20 Elder Gods. So just a quick shuffle of our Elder Gods. And we're going to pull the first Elder God off. And he is Shub Nigra.
The black goats of the woods with 1,000 young. An outer god known as Shub-Niggurath. A god of fertility, though perverse in nature. Her appearance is widely speculated, but generally accepted to be a massive, black, cloudy mass. With tentacles and many mouths exuding slime, she is said to have short, writhing goat legs and continuously giving birth to small monster-like beings that are spat from her many mouths.
And his special ability is, on the combat phase, he will draw 1,000 young to bring in every turn. Now, if you have not seen 1,000 young, and I've played this game a couple of times now, it actually makes you pull another Mythos card. So the more you get in the game, the more Mythos cards are going to happen, the more bad things are going to happen. On my side, you can just see it off to the side. We have some purple and orange. I'm going to just use them when I need to remind myself of either some sort of sanity damage that I can do and Mythos or Moxie damage or whatever I need to do to prepare. That's just to help me remember how much Moxie is going on on the tableau. So we have pulled our first monster. Now we go first. So the first thing we are going to do is shuffle our 10 cards. And as you can see, 10 cards in total, 3 stagger cards, which take up your hand, and you can discard them, and then some sleuth cards, which give you 1 moxie, and that's how we start. So we started, I think, at a great disadvantage to the Elder Gods. You can see me just shuffling here and dropping cards everywhere, which is par for the course. We may push these up just a little bit. Here we are. So we have a sleuth, a sleuth, a sleuth, a stagger, and a sleuth. So I have 4 sleuths. And they are starter cards, and we know they're starter cards because it says starter at the very top of them. I'll just bring that up to show you. See, it says starter. Now, don't mind the reflections. Don't mind the reflections, or the man behind the curtain, I suppose. So let's see what we have here. Equipment. Body armor. Health damage is reduced to 2 by 2 to a minimum of 1. So body armor would be great. Kills 1 meeting immediately. Well, I have 4 sleuth. That cost me 4. Let's bring up our crucifix. And it says, kills 1 minion instantly. This card can be played at any game, in any game phase. That is amazing. Okay, so we're going to put that here. It's cost us just about everything. I'm going to put them on a discard pile. The discard pile will be just over here. Okay, the preparation phase is exactly that. I have spent my moxie, so we're going to put our library back together. And we have some equipment now. We have a crucifix that is prepared for the next round. So basically, we are going to come to the combat phase, which the minion or the Elder God goes first. He is going to call upon 1,000 young. First, though, we must do the mythos phase. Experimenting with dead. Spawn an unholy abomination. If Cthulhu is the active Elder God, spawn IC +1. Now, when you see IC, that's an investigator count. And -1, you go 1 -1. That doesn't make any sense. The rule of this game is the rule of 1. Therefore, if I'm a negative, I'm going to put 1 into play. And you can see I've put the unholy abomination into play. Now, what it does say in my crucifix says that I can use it at any time. So I'm going to use it now before the triggers the next phase. And I'm going to play that, and I'm going to get rid of the 1,000 young. Now we go by the lowest health monster, and that is the unholy abomination. The Elder God cannot be damaged while this minion is active. Half the damage goes to the minion, and the other half is insanity damage to the attacking. Well, when I take sanity damage, one of my special powers, of course, is that I can inflict equal amounts of health damage to the minion or to the abomination. So that's not a bad thing. But at this point, I'm not attacking because I have no cards to attack with. So that is the end of the turn. I will draw 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 3 staggers and 3 sleuths. Now I have to look at what card would best serve. I'm going to do the action card. It's going to cost me all 3 of my moxie. And this action card is Quick Smoke. Light him if you got him. Gain 3 moxie, but you lose 1 health. Well, you all know that smoking is bad for you. We will put the next one out. We have a preparation phase. We only have 1 card. Next thing is Sub Nagraf. He's going to bring out a 1,000 young. Oh, we have to do the mythos phase, of course, before we even do that. And that is Depths of Despair. All investigators take IC -2 sanity damage at the start of each combat phase. That is a permanent. So that stays out at all times unless I have a way of getting rid of a permanent, which I do not at this point, which is nasty. Since the mythos phase is after the Shurnaga, actually, I should have brought him out. Sorry. So Sub Nagref goes first, the minions. Then we do the Mythos phase. And then, since this doesn't come out at the beginning of the combat phase, we are good. For one turn anyway. There's no way to get rid of this. The next step is to go through the minions. The Thousand Young draws another Mythos card. Oh, good for that. The Darkness. Spawn -2 star minions. Of course, going by our rule of 1, we will have to spawn 1 star minion. And here is the star spawn. The star spawn deals each investigator IC -2 sanity damage if a 4-star spawns become active. An additional Elder Guard becomes active. Well, we would have to pick another Elder Guard. Okay, so we have taken the Thousand Young, and we'll just tap him a little bit. The Unholy Abomination. This is the one that basically says if I'm going to do damage to him, half the damage goes to the minion, and the other half to the Elder Gods cannot be damaged while this minion is active. Half the damage that goes to the minion, and the other half goes to that sanity. I think we don't have to attack him, really. That card doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of, I could just leave him out here. It doesn't say all minions. It says the minion. Star Spawn says he's going to deal each investigator IC -1. So I am going to take a sanity damage. He's sanity damage. So I am going to put 1 on. Oh, I can't attack him. So I'm going to have to get rid of this Unholy Abomination. Round it up 1. So I'm not going to take any damage. I'm going to pretend that this is, because there's nothing to split here. So the damage of 1 is going to go to him. That is from the sanity. Depths of Despair is an IC -2 sanity damage at the start of each combat phase again. So we don't have to worry about that permanent yet. So we'll just untap these for the next turn. It is my turn. I have an action. It is Quick Smoke. I gain 3 Moxie at the expense of 1 health. So I am going to do, I have 3 Moxie. So I'm going to get rid of 1. I'm going to take 1. He's going to take another. And I go down to 23. And that is the end of the phase. It comes back to my turn. We're going to deal 5 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to put the Psychiatrist just out of reach here, and I'll keep you rested, just to keep it 2. So we have a starter card. We have the action. We have the Quick Smoke again. We have the equipment. And the Sleuth at any phase. So I am just going to use my Holy Crucifix to get rid of the Unholy Abomination. Okay, sorry about that pause. I'm going to edit that out. So I'm going to do the library phase here. That's the action card. So I have 2 to spend, and I really can't do much with that right now. So we'll go on to the preparation phase. So I am actually going to take 1 health damage and gain 3 Moxie. So what I'm going to do is just remind ourselves that we have 3 Moxie. So we have 5 Moxie this round. The beginning of the combat phase, I'm going to take, at the start of the combat, I'm going to take 2 IC -2, so that's really just 1 damage. It is the Elder God. So he is going to spawn a 1,000 Young. So that's the second 1,000 Young. Then we are going to spawn a Mythos card, and it is the Plague of Locusts. Each investigator takes IC health damage this combat phase. The next combat phase takes IC sanity damage. Sorry. So basically what that says is that each investigator takes IC health damage this combat phase, and the next take sanity damage in the next phase, and we leave this active. So we'll just leave that there. We are going to now come to our 1,000 young, which means I'm going to take a mythos card. It is the yellow sign. Spawn one incorporeal demon. If Hester is the active elder, God spawn IC +1. Well, we are going to spawn an incorporeal demon. And here we have the incorporeal demon. Deal 1 health damage to each investigator, and if it's still alive during planning phase, reduce the number of cards drawn by 1 card down to a minimum of drawing 1 card. So he's going to do 1 damage to me. We'll do the next. So in theory, he would actually go first. So the rule is the lowest minion is going to go first. So I am down to, I took the 1 health. The next is the star spawn. I'm going to take 1 sanity damage. So I am going to go on to the old shub, because I take a sanity damage and I can do equal. The mythos damage we did already. We did one of the mythos damage, I believe, already. The star spawn does 1 sanity damage to me. So again, I'm going to do that. It is now my turn. I have 5 Moxie, and I'm certainly just going to go right after. Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm going to go after this guy for 2. Which is this guy. The Incorporeal Darkness. And I'm going to put 3 onto Shrub, which gives him Shrub. He's plant-based, folks. 5. And that is the end of the round. So we don't have that anymore. We have these cards go into the discard pile, and then it is ready for the next turn. So this is bailing, not too bad. It's coming along not too bad. So let's start the next turn. It is crazy around here today. Oh my God, my dog is absolutely crazy. Running around like a madman. So I have 5 sleuth cards, which means 5 Moxie. And I think I'm going to pick up the card that gets rid of the permanents. So that leaves me with 1 Moxie left, which isn't really enough to really do anything with. So we do have a preparation card that says Reversal of Mythos. Destroy 1 permanent Mythos or prevent 1 Mythos card from being drawn. After activating, you can't act for the rest of this round. Well, I think that's okay. With 1 Moxie left, we're really not going to do a lot of damage, but I really would like to get rid of this permanent. The Depths of Despair. Chipping away at my health. We'll turn that over. It is, though, the Elder's turn, which means we're going to get another 1,000 young out. We are going to take a single sanity damage from this card here. So this now can go into the Mythos pile. The Elder Scroll. Then we're going to pull out a Mythos card. Lost in the Dreamverse. Each investigator takes 1 sanity damage for each card in their hand. Fortunately, I have no cards in my hand. Though I did take the 1 sanity damage earlier. So we could do another damage to our Shub Naraf. Of course, the problem is I have to draw 3 more Mythos cards. Loathing. Sanity and health are switched on all investigators. Your current health and max health become what sanity was, and vice versa. Sanity and health are switched on all investigators. Your current health and max health become what sanity was, and vice versa. That is not good. So basically, I will go up max health, and my sanity goes down to 20. Don't think I like this card. Loathing. Of course, that's 2 out of the 4 Mythos. So this next young is going to crawl Vampire Embrace. I'm going to take 1 health. 1 health damage to my investigator. Thankfully, we're at max health. And the last Mythos card is Fearless Horror. Destroy all cards in the active public library. These cards is not refilled after the first investigator finishes his planning phase. So in other words, I'm going to lose all these cards, which is too bad because I really was looking for the Cantata. That is a nasty card. That is nasty for sure. We will just put it off. That is destroyed. Since we're out of cards, we will do the reshuffle. Well, so far we're surviving. Not very well, though. Our sanity took a big hit. Now, I can always use Moxie to improve my sanity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's take a look here. We have 2 staggers, which are absolutely no help. We have a sleuth for 1 Moxie. Reversal of Mythos. We can save that for our preparation phase. If we can play that during our Mythos phase. Of course, we won't be able to do anything else after that. We can kill a minion instantly, and we have 1 Moxie. Well, 1 Moxie doesn't really get us anything because we have no library up here, so we'll be able to prepare that. And our Crucifix. So we're going to get rid of one of these. Oh, and I forgot about the Star Spawn. So I did take another sanity hit because we didn't take the last one. I missed that. Of course, with the sanity hit, I can do that. And I'm going to get rid of one of these 1,000 Youngs. He's going to be short-lived, though, unfortunately. That goes into our discard pile. And that is what we have prepared. Of course, we come back to the combat phase, which starts with the Elder God. And the first thing he does is puts out 1,000 Young. Then we are going to take our first Mythos card. We are Consume. If not already active, spawn the Destroyer of the Devourer. That is not good. He is a pretty kick-ass monster I've seen, and he eats the other monsters and heals Shub-Niroth. So, the good news at this point is that we go from the lowest to the highest. So we are going to take a -1 sanity damage. So actually, in any phase, we can't do anything, but I can actually mitigate. Sorry guys, I made a little mistake. I can actually mitigate the Consume with my Reversal of Mythos, which is excellent, because I really don't want Behemoth the Devourer out, because he is just a nasty piece of work. Thankfully, we start with this. We take another sanity hit. We can give another damage to our Shub-Niroth, and then we start into our 3 Mythoses that we have to try to get rid of. Now we can't really do anything at this point with these guys. So we will just start pulling 3 Mythos. The first one is Sven's Family Curse. Each investigator takes 1 damage for each card in their hand. Well, I actually played all 3 cards into the preparation phase, so I don't have the cards in my hand. Interestingly enough, I'm going to have to look up whether or not the preparation phase is in my hand or are they prepared. So if we look in the rules right here on preparation, it says play cards from your hand. So I don't know why they would have a card like that, because you would always play all the cards in your hand. I don't know why you would keep something back. So that really isn't a bother to us because we have no cards in our hand. We will now pick for the second Mythos. It's a cult ritual. We are going to spawn a cultist. Gotta love those cultists. They're going to give me Icy -2 health damage, and they are a 5. So I wonder if we draw a card, whether or not that actually comes into play, because we're already on the 6s. Yep, let's go look at the rules. So the rulebook really doesn't say anything about the order. I am going to assume that as soon as the cultist comes out, he is going to do the 1 health damage to me. And then we're going to pick the last Mythos card, which is Unending Horror. I'm going to take Icy plus 1 sanity damage. So I'm actually going to take 2 sanity damage, which is fine because I can now give the Elder God that. I have nothing here, so I have nothing to play. So that is it for the combat round. So it comes to my turn. I have nothing to buy. I should have refilled the library after the planning stage. Hopefully I didn't make a mistake here and lose track of what turn I'm on. That happens sometimes. So either I'm not supposed to refill the library or I refill the library. We'll review that in the... Oh, I don't have to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to take 5 more cards. We have 4 Sleuths to stagger. Oh, I would love to get some more Moxie. Perfect. So I'm going to buy 2 pieces of equipment. I'm going to buy this bandage, which is going to allow me to heal some health for 1. And then I'm going to buy a piece of equipment that is the containment unit, which is going to give me 3 Moxie. So I'm going to have 3 Moxie going into the fight. This is the point where I would keep hand cards back in my hand if I wanted to play cards after the round. That is the end of this particular phase. So we did the preparation phase. We rephrased the library. It is the Elder God's turn. Of course, he brings on another 1,000 young monster. So that's his first turn. We're going to start with Star Marav. He's going to give me 1 sanity damage, which also gives Shub Naraf 1 sanity damage. We are going to go to the Cultist. He's going to give me IC -2, which is 1 health damage. So we are okay. Sorry, this would be an action card, not a preparation phase. So we'll save that to the end. So theoretically, this was still in my hand. We have 3 Moxie. Oh, we have our 1,000 Youngs to go through. So we have 4 Mythos phases to go through. The investigator with the lowest sanity cannot act until the end of the next round. So basically, I have just negated everything here at this point. So everything is going to get basically discarded for the end of the turn. I still have 3 Mythos phases to go through. Cursed Whale. Each investigator receives an IC sanity damage, which again, I can put onto here. We will turn the card over. This is experimenting with the dead. Spawn 1 unholy abomination. And here comes the unholy abomination. And now, the last but not least, spawn a marigold. Next up, we will look at the unholy abomination. The Elder God cannot be damaged with the minion is active. If this minion is active, half the damage dealt to the minion. So I can't actually even do anything with him. And the marigold gives me IC -2, which is sanity. So it says I cannot be damaged while this minion is active. So I do get 1 sanity damage. We're going to have to start chipping away at the unholy abomination. Okay, as you know, that last Mythos card basically said I can't do anything until the end of the next round. So we're going to skip the library phase. We really can't prepare our hands. We go right back to the monster phase. Guess what? Another 1,000 Young hits the board. There we are. There's 5. So we're going to pick out 6 Mythos cards this turn. I don't know if we're going to survive. Death. All investigators take enough health damage to reduce them to 5 health. Well, there you go. Zoof. Starting with the lowest is the Starspawn. I'm going to take 2 sanity damage. Or 1 sanity damage, I should say. Well, at least that puts another one onto our abomination. Next up is the cultist. I'm going to take 1 health damage because it's IC -2. I am down to 4 health. If in case you're not sure, this is where we're sitting. There's my health at 4. My sanity is at 12. Might as well just go right over to the Marigold. He does another sanity damage, which at least I can start getting rid of the unholy abomination. Since 1, I'm going to round up, so 1, I don't take a damage. Because half the damage would come back to me. You can't have a half. Okay, next, we are going to start going through all 5 of these Mythos cards, starting with number 1. It is Arachnophobia. Pull out a tarantula. We love tarantulas. There we are. And according to the rules, you can't have too many minions. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to pull out another Mythos card. That's number 2 of 5. It is a ritual. We're going to pull out another cultist. Okay, we've pulled out another cultist. It is now 3 of 5. Spawn an incorporeal demon. That is the yellow sign. And here's our incorporeal demon. Deal 1 health damage to each investigator if they're still alive during the planning phase. Reduce the number of cards drawn by 1 card. There was a couple of people who interpreted that. That basically means if he's still out, I'm going to take a health damage and I can only take 4 instead of 5 cards. Assuming I get a turn, of course. This is number 4. Time Bender. Time seemingly reverts back to the land of nothingness. Destroy all active locations. We have no active locations. And the last Mythos. Banshee Whale. Each investigator receives a sanity damage. It does not look good for our intrepid investigator. We have 8 damage to do, but I can't do damage till I get rid of him. So, and the problem is if I do more damage to him than 1 at a time, I'm going to get smacked. So we have 2 cards left. Whoops, we'll just put that over there. We're going to have to reshuffle everything. At least we get a turn this time. Now, I am not sure what happens when you spawn. I almost want to say that this game should say that these monsters come in tap, like magic, so that you get around, at least you get around before you start having to deal with them. And that might be an excellent sort of suggestion back to the authors of this game. So we have a crucifix. We have our spell, which is the reversal of Mythos, which is probably going to be useful. 3 Moxie. And this kills 1 minion instantly. So, I think we're going to start with that crucifix. So actually, I got a few things wrong. The preparation phase starts at the beginning, and then it's the research phase. But we're going to. So the preparation is basically where you can start to play your cards. We haven't been playing it wrong. I just renamed it wrong, talked about it wrong. So we're going to get rid of this unholy abomination. Yay. Okay, and then we have a crucifix. Kills 1 minion instant. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I just had to sort that out. I put the wrong card down, so I've straightened it out. There's the crucifix. I have the reversal of Mythos, which is going to help us at any point in my time, but that we don't need to do that as a preparation. That'll have to stay in our hand. We have 3 Sleuth. Well, we might as well pick up a shovel for 0 during the research phase. That'll go into our hand. I think what we'll do is spend our 3 Sleuth to pick up the Sucker Punch, which gives 2 Moxie. And we have that in our hand. At the end of the phase, of course, we are now prepared with our Moxie, because we have 1, 2, 3 Moxie altogether. If we can survive this, perhaps we might be able to do something. Get him close anyway. The first action on the combat phase, of course, is Mr. Shubnargarov, and he gets to put another 1,000 young out. Now, if you ever run out of cards, apparently, you just keep track and keep going. So you can see now we're going to have the Mythos phase, and then 7 more Mythos phase eventually. So, starting with the official Mythos phase, raise the dead, spawn another zombie. Gotta love our zombies. Walking Dead. I am running out of room for monsters. That is the Mythos phase. Now it is their combat phase, starting with the lowest, which is our zombie. Deals the investigator with the lowest health 2 damage. 1, 2. We are down to 2 damage. Next up would be our tarantula. It does 1 damage. At the end of every combat phase, if the tarantula is still alive, spawn another. But I'm going to take a combat damage, which actually basically takes me off, and I am dead. That is the end of the game. I have lost. You can see that I had no way to control the board at all. So one of the things I really didn't, this is my 4th playthrough, and as a solo investigator, you just can't. It just, you get overwhelmed so fast. Now, you know, the mythos is correct. I mean, you're going to go insane, you're going to die. I mean, these are the elder gods, but it would be nice if it felt like more of a fight. Because once all these you got 6 mythoses happening every freaking turn, so 7 together, then, you know, the cultists and the tarantulas are spawning, and you just not, I'm not feeling like I could build a deck fast enough in order to do that. I think one of the rules, as I mentioned earlier, is that I'd like to see perhaps a little bit more on the mana tapping. So when you bring out a cultist like magic, it comes in not quite ready to go. So you get a chance to defend once before something bad happens. That might be a good balancing action here. But other than that, that is the game. We have some final thoughts, and that's pretty much it. I'm 4 games in. I don't know, guys. I don't know, folks. This is not the best solo game I've played. It certainly has potential. I think some tweaking of some house rules, and this would be a fine game. And in fact, I'm going to try this again with that magic tap rule with the monsters. They come in tapped, because it's just too much when they come in and then they start at you very, very quickly. I think you should have a turn where they come in and they're going, what's the board like? What's going on around me? I don't think they would just go jump in and jump you. Thematically, I don't think they would. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. So, how did I feel about Cthulhu, a deck building game? I played it a couple times now, and both times were very, very one-sided in terms of the elder gods and the minions. Basically, I got my butt handed to me, and I'm not sure if I really liked that, because it didn't feel like I fought really, really hard or had a chance to really get anything going before I was done. I played the psychiatrist twice and got my butt kicked twice by the psychiatrist. And so it didn't feel like I fought hard. It felt like, oh, by the way, oh, here's a minion. Oh, by the way, here's another minion and another minion. Oh, and we'll draw a mythos and another mythos and another mythos. Really not giving me a chance to develop my deck to really do any damage against the Elder God in order to get rid of the Elder God. I was dead before, I don't know, was it 20 minutes, 25 minutes? And so that kind of concerns me that this game is balanced, more heavily tilted towards the Elder Gods and the minions than it is to this single solo player. So I don't want to say it's not a solo game, because it certainly has that solo feel to it, but it's not balanced. And I think it needs some mechanics in there to help balance out that solo player experience. Like the fact that I had 6 1,000 young on the table. Here's a Mythos card 6 times in a row. Here, take some damage. Take some more. Oh, here, get a tarantula. How do you think I would feel about that? It's like when you're down and then all of a sudden they're just kicking you. So both games were, okay, but I wouldn't say it's the best solo deck builder in my opinion. I think if they came out with another expansion, they've had one expansion so far, which was a standalone game, that they need to balance this game a little bit more in the solo aspect, which means either removing some cards perhaps or putting some solo cards in that just makes it a bit more manageable. But that's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, just go down to the comments and make a comment and say, no, I don't agree. But anyway, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of this, and hit the bell so you're notified of when I do more of this type of work. And on Tuesdays, I do coffee and Kickstarters, where I discuss some community-based gaming things, as well as some general board gaming things, and then get into 4 or 5 Kickstarters. So please join me on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, depending on how quick I can get to something. So I thank you very much, and I will talk to you the next time I see you, or at least the next time you see me.